Hello, welcome to my channel, Mackenzie Customs. We're doing a painting called In the Mountains at Midnight. We've got a black canvas prepped. We've got a little bit of color put on there. We put some dioxazine, purple. We did some phthalo blue and some deep blue. From halfway to the bottom is the deep blue, phthalo blue, and then purple at the top. Right now I just got a little bit of titanium white. I rubbed some titanium white right here and we just spread it out. Right now we're going to grab some liquid white. And a standard toothbrush. We need the titanium liquid white and a standard toothbrush. I'm just grabbing the liquid white right now. And we can make that liquid white just by adding a little bit of thinner to our titanium white. Once we got the liquid white mixed up, we're going to have our standard, just your standard toothbrush. We're going to want to get some color on there, some liquid color, and just at the top of the canvas there, kind of sprinkle some stars in there. Not too many, just enough for the night sky. Alright, so once we got the stars put in there, we're going to grab a little more of our titanium white on our 4-inch brush. And we're going to come down to this spot here. And we just want to do the same thing. We don't need to bring it right up to the other spot, but we're going to kind of spread this out. And we're going to pull that right down to the bottom of the canvas. Now we'll just soften it, go over it nice and light back and forth, and just soften all those brush strokes out of it. So we got that done. We can do the same thing now with our liquid white. Just take the same liquid white that we were using, get a little bit more of that on there, and just kind of sprinkle some stars in there. That should be good. The next color you're going to want to get is black. I use lamb black, but we can use any black as long as it's black. So once we've got our lamb black, we just want to grab our palette knife and get a little roll of paint on there. Just a little roll. We're going to start over here. We're going to start creating a mountain. We just want to pull it down, create these little spots that have little highs and low spots, back and forth. And when you're doing these mountains, it's not so important to get the color down here on the mountain right now. It's just the edge. You want to watch this edge and make sure you have a really nice, clean, crisp edge. We'll get another little roll of paint on there. And we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to pull it one, maybe right here. I use two different palette knives because one's a left and one's a right. However, you don't have to use two different palette knives. Whatever works for you. We're going to come down the other side of this mountain. And same thing, you just want these little up and down movements. Get a little more black on there, and we're going to do the same thing on this. We've got a couple mountain shadows in there. What we're going to do is get our brush, our 4-inch brush, make sure it's nice and clean. You don't want any more of that white on there or it'll lighten the black. So we got our brush cleaned off and we can just start pulling this mountain down like this, filling in this dark spot. And when you're pulling this, you just want to kind of go like this on an angle and sweep it out along the edge. You don't want to pull it down into the blue too far. And we'll go left to right here, just kind of pulling it over. Same thing with this mountain, you just want to fill it in. It's not too important how it looks right now because this is just the shadow color. You just want to make sure like those edges are nice, like I say. And same thing, just kind of sweep that across. So we've got our two mountains. Now we're going to take some of our titanium white, a little bit of our phthalo blue. And you just want to add a little bit of phthalo blue to it though, not too much. You just want a light, kind of a light blue white color. And what I usually do, if I'm showing someone how to do a mountain, is we just take a little liner brush with some of our white blue mix that we just made and kind of start from the peak there and do these little zigzags coming down the mountain. And we'll pull a little piece off here, maybe a little line there. And we'll do the same thing for the other one. What this will do is help tell us where our highlights and shadows should be. So now that we got it like that, we can come back to our palette knife, do the same thing. We'll get a little roll of paint on there. And we just want to come up to the tip here and start pulling it down along this edge. Right now we're just getting a little bit of color in there. We're going to add the highlights after. The trick to using a palette knife like this is to just have the little roll of paint on and kind of do these fast little sweeping motions. As you touch, you just kind of pull away at the same time. Now we got those colors on there, we can come back with the same color, but we're just going to add these little highlighted areas. Just like that. And we'll do the same thing for the other one. Now we got a couple highlights in there. We at least know that this is going to be our lit side. This is the side that will have the brightest. All right, so we got those highlights in there, and we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. We got a little bit of our titanium white, and same thing, our phthalo blue, but we just want a tone darker than the color that we had before. So we add a little bit more phthalo blue, not much more, just a tiny little amount more, just to get the color a little bit darker. Now we got our darker blue, we're just going to come along the other side of the edge. All we're doing right now is just getting a little color in there. Oh, we'll just pop a few highlights in there. I like to take a little bit of that dark color and maybe just do a little, the odd little highlight of that darker color down the other side. Now that we got our mountains there, just take our brush and soften this bottom part. Then we can take a fan brush or a filbert brush, works just fine. We want to take some of our liquid white, and what we're going to do is right about there, we just want to stick it on completely vertical or horizontal and just start spinning it. Now that we got the moon in there, we can take our, well, you can take any soft brush, but I got this brush here, works really well. And we just want to kind of sweep that out around the edges. The trick to sweeping it out like this is to just go really light. And remember, you don't want to blend away any of your stars or anything. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to grab that same brush that we just used, and we're going to go back over it, and we're going to create another moon there. So we've got our moon, and we're going to do the same thing right here. But down here, it's not going to be as important, so we just get a little bit of color on there. And same thing. I like using this brush. It helps fan it out nice. And we got a little color there. Well, we're going to do the exact same thing. We'll grab some more liquid white. And we're going to come put this moon right there. And we've got a moon's reflection in the water. We come over, get our palette knife again. Get a little more of that titanium, or not the titanium black, white, lamb black. And we just want to bring something out like this. It's going to be a little chunk of land over there. And with our palette knife, we'll do the same. And we got a little color on there. We can get a clean, dry brush. And we just want to spread this out. Now we got those two black areas in there. Like I say, those are just shadow areas where we're going to be putting stuff. Same thing over here. Maybe we'll just put, this little thing here. That can be a little distant area too. So now that we got those there, we're going to come over, grab one of our fan brushes. We're going to take some of our deep green or dark green. Any dark green will work just fine. And you just want to kind of get some color in there. Now that we got a little color in there, we can come along the top here and just do these little flick motions. We don't need them to grow too big. But we'll do the same thing down here, but we only need a little bit coming down. That, just like that, will be good enough. And so what you want to do now that you did that, is just grab a little bit more of your black color with the same brush you're just using. You don't need to clean it or anything. Just Get a little bit of black on there. And about the middle area, just dab in this little area here. And all I'm doing here is just pulling the edge of this black just down a little bit with the green. All this is doing is making the trees just a little bit more green, darker. Oh, we have our little distant spot there. Next thing we want to do is get a clean dry brush. I like using a liner brush, works great. Or any fine tip brush that's small will work too. We're just going to get some of our brown mixture. I used a burnt sienna and just lightened it a little bit. But what we'll do is we'll start, well, yeah, we'll come down like this and just put it right here. Thing with these trees, we can just put them anywhere we like. And we're going to be putting this one right here. Now that we got that part roughed in, we're going to do the same to the other side. But maybe this one will come up like this. Now we got two spots there where our trees are going to be. And take out the odd little twig. Just something like that will be fine. Now we can take a clean fan brush. We'll take some of our dark green. And we're just going to start dabbing in these. You just want to go back and forth. Like everything, it's mostly the edges that we care about looking. We want the edges to look how we would want them to look. And we're going to do the same thing for the other side. Now we got our shadow color in there. We can move on to the lighter green that we're going to use. The lighter green that I'm using is just my deep green mixed with some yellow orge. And that's how you will get this color. You just want to kind of dab this around in the areas. It's just going to create some different highlighted effects. And same thing on this other tree. And then we can add just a little bit of yellow to that orch green that we just made. We add a little bit of yellow to that. That's going to make it a shade brighter. Once that's all mixed up, we'll take our fan brush and do the same thing. But we want to pay attention to these edges. And so now I'm just getting a little bit of that brown, mixing it with the green, just kind of creating this next color that we can put in there. It's just going to add more depth and detail. So now we're just making a even lighter green. We're just using the same greens that we had, just making it a little bit lighter with the yellow orch. Or you could just use some yellow as well, but only a little bit. And sometimes if you have a hard time getting the paint color showing up over the other paint color, it's not sticking properly, you can add just the tiniest little amount of thinner to it, and that will help. We're just taking that lighter green and doing the same thing, just putting those little spots in anywhere. You don't want to fill the whole thing, you want these other colors. We want all the colors showing up. Now we can just take some color in. There. We'll start creating these bushes. I'm just going to grab a different brush. I don't really like the way that one's working right now. Now we're just going to start creating this little thing right here. And you just want to dab, get some little branches going up anywhere. And that's our one color that we're going to put on the little bush. This is just the darker green that I had. Still a little bit lighter than the dark green, but it's another of the green. And we're just going to get a bit of that light green on there now. No point even cleaning off the brush, doesn't much matter. Now that we got our little bush in there, we'll call that good. Now all we need to do is sign it. And for that, we'll just use a little bit of our liquid white. And we'll come down here in the corner. The reason you want to use the liquid white is because thin always goes on top of the thicker paint, no problem. And that's a painting. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, and keep checking in. We'll keep doing more videos. Thanks a lot. Enjoy.